Good morning, Dr. Rodriguez. My name is Alexandra Barker, and today I dissected a cow eye. All right, so this is our cow eyeball, and vision is considered a specialty sense. And for humans, we use vision to understand the world around us. Now, within the eye socket, where the ball rests, is a lot of orbital fat. So the first thing I did in this dissection was I removed some of this orbital fat so we could take a better look at the structures. Now, this large section here, this is called the cornea, and it is transparent and it covers the anterior portion of the eye. Now, if we open up the eye and move inside, this area here, this is called the iris. Now, I took out half of the iris. It would complete a whole circle, but pigmented cells within the iris give the iris its distinguished color. So people have different colored eyes, and that's because of the iris. Now, the iris also constricts and dilates to allow more or less light into the pupil. And the pupil is this cutout here within the iris. And the pupil is where most of the light that the eye receives enters. Now, behind the iris would be the lens. And the lens fits behind just like this. And the lens changes shapes to help us focus on objects that are either farther away or closer away. Farther away or closer to us. Now, the cornea and iris and pupil and lens are all part of the anterior cavity of the eye. That is this front portion of the eye we see here. And within the anterior cavity would be this watery solution called the aqueous humor. And the aqueous humor provides nutrients to this front part of the eye. Now, moving back into the eye, we have this larger section here, and this larger section is called the posterior cavity. And likewise to the anterior cavity, the posterior cavity is also filled with a watery fluid, and this is called the vitreous humor. Now, continuing back into the eye, this darker area here, this darker layer, this is called the retina. And the retina houses the specialized visual sensory cells known as rods and cones. Now, behind the retina, this layer right here, this is called the corticoid. And the corticoid is highly vascular and it supplies blood to the retina here. Now, outside of the eye, this white section that gives eyeballs its distinguished white section, this is called the sclera. Now, moving back into the eye, this little section here, this is called the optic disc. And the optic disc is the origin of the optic nerve. Behind the eye, in this little oval section right here, this is the optic nerve, and it shoots out behind the eye and sends the visual signals that we perceive into our brain to be processed. And that is the conclusion of my eyeball dissection. I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice week, and until next time.